In February 2025, the Royal Jordanian Fatwa Authority issued a formal legal ruling to settle a contemporary domestic dispute. To resolve this distinctly modern problem, the Council cited a single definitive authority, a 700-year-old legal manuscript known as the Tabyīn al-Ḥaqā'iq. When we picture the authors of these classical texts, we usually look towards the famous hubs of the Middle East, Baghdad, Cairo, or Damascus. But the author of this specific ruling came from the coast of Somalia. His name was Fakhr al-Dīn al-Zayla'ī, and he was a master jurist in the Hanafi school of Islamic law. This map shows the reach of the Hanafi school today, stretching across the Balkans, Turkey, and deep into Central and South Asia. It is the largest of the four major Sunni legal traditions, the framework used by hundreds of millions of Muslims. How does a 14th-century scholar born on the Horn of Africa author a text that holds structural weight for that global population 7 centuries later? The true origins of influence are sometimes obscured by modern geographical biases. To map al-Zaylai's rise, we have to look out toward the Indian Ocean trade winds. We begin on the Gulf of Aden, in the medieval Somali city of Zeila. It operated as a major commercial terminal, linking the Red Sea directly to the broader Indian Ocean. Caravans pushed out from the Ethiopian highlands, carrying leather, grain, and incense into Zeila's markets. Merchants then loaded these goods onto local ships and sailed them straight across the water to Yemen and the Hijaz. Customs records from the Rasulid dynasty in Yemen show that trade from Zeila's shipping fleets accounted for a significant share of the region's maritime revenue, confirming a high-volume commercial economy. Zeila was a permanent, wealthy urban center. These surviving stone ruins and the coastal minaret offer a glimpse into the city's physical footprint during its peak. The city's elite merchant families took the capital generated by those shipping routes and invested it heavily in an intellectual diaspora. They identified their most capable students and financed their travel abroad to study. The physical infrastructure of the spice and leather trade directly subsidized an invisible infrastructure of knowledge. In 1305, that financial pipeline brought Fakhr al-Dīn al-Zaylai here, to Mamluk Cairo, the unrivaled capital of Islamic learning at the time. He didn't arrive as a lone immigrant. He joined the Riwaq al-Zaylai, an institutionally recognized residential college within al-Azhar University, reserved exclusively for scholars from Zeila. These dedicated lodges were backed by waqfs, endowments set up by the merchant class back home. They ensured their scholars had housing, provided them with monthly stipends, and a built-in community. The legal primer Kanz al-Daqā'iq packed 40,000 dense rulings into one text. Al-Zaylai's 6-volume commentary unpacked these rules, clarifying exactly how they should be applied. For example, he mapped the Qibla for Muslims worldwide, translating abstract geography into practical directives. He then passed this methodology down directly to the next generation in Cairo, teaching students like Jamal al-Dīn al-Zaylai, who would become one of the 14th century's most celebrated hadith scholars. The commercial wealth and institutional support of his home city provided the exact conditions al-Zaylai needed to transition from a student of the law to a central architect of its canon. Within 50 years of his death, high-quality, hand-copied manuscripts of his commentary were already circulating in Mecca. Because the text was designated a mutun mutamada, a relied-upon authority, it was adopted by the Ottoman and Mughal empires as a standard reference for judges and muftis to standardize their legal rulings. When al-Zaylai died in 1342, he was buried here, in Cairo's al-Khurafa cemetery, his resting place situated among the most prestigious jurists and mystics of the Mamluk era. His commentary outlasted the empires that adopted it. In 1895, it received a definitive 6-volume printed edition in Cairo, proving it had remained in active use for over 500 years. There is a persistent myth that the Horn of Africa existed only on the periphery of Islamic scholarship, passively consuming texts written elsewhere. Fakhr al-Dīn al-Zaylai provides the evidence to the contrary. His work is not a footnote. It is a foundational pillar of the Hanafi tradition that continues to resolve legal disputes to this day.